Today we go over big news for the future of the Star Wars franchise and more. This is iger here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, Star Wars Episode 9 is the next project for the Star Wars franchise. After that, we have the set of Star Wars films being developed by the Game of Thrones creators and a whole lot more. Now, a lot of people have been wondering what's in store for Star Wars 2020. Is it going to be the Obi-Wan film after all? Is it going to be something entirely different and new? Now, that we have no idea on exactly what's happening with Star Wars 2020. However, not too, long ago, actually just a couple hours ago, Bob Iger, alright, the head, this CEO of Disney, actually spoke about the plans that they have in store for the future of the Star Wars franchise, and that they are changing up their way of approaching these movies and how they will be released and treated. Now, this may be good or bad news to a lot of you guys out there, but speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, this is what Bob Iger had to say. He states this: "I made the timing decision, and as I look back, I think the mistake that I made, I take the blame, was a little too much too fast. You can expect some slowdown, but that doesn't mean we're not going to make films. J.J. Abrams is busy making Episode 9. We have creative entities, including Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who are developing sagas of their own, which we haven't been specific about. And we are just at the point where we're going to start making decisions about what comes next after JJ's. But I think we're going to be a little bit more careful about volume and timing, and the buck stocks here on that." So that's what Bob Iger had to say about the future of the franchise itself and how Disney will be approaching it. Now, he does go over that they are now just touching on ideas and discussing matters on exactly what Star Wars 2020 will really be. Again, it says right here where he states, alright, who are developing sagas of their own, which we haven't been specific about. And we are just at the point where we are going to start making decisions about what comes next after JJ's, as in Star Wars Episode 9, right? So they're trying to come up with ideas right now, as we speak, of what the next Star Wars movie is going to be after J.J. Abrams' Star Wars Episode 9. Now, this whole entire concept of slowing Star Wars down is, of course, what everybody is calling it right now, based on this statement by Bob Iger, as apparently they will be slowing down the Star Wars franchise. Now, does this necessarily mean that we're not going to be getting a Star Wars movie every single year? Maybe in the near future. I don't think so immediately. I don't think it's going to be like 2020 without a Star Wars movie, or 2021. I don't think that they're going to take a break like that. What I think that they're going to be doing is that they're going to decide to not have any films actually released closely to each other, such as, for a big example, The Last Jedi released in December of 2017, and then Solo released in May of 2018. Now, this is where I disagree on a lot of things out there. Now, this all comes in light of Solo: A Star Wars Story's box office results, and how that movie just did not do too well at all. The fact that Disney still thinks that it's all based on a frequency issue, I just totally disagree with that. I don't think it is. I think it was 100%, I would say, from The Last Jedi backlash, and the other side of the story here is that I think it all had to do with the Solo: A Star Wars Story boycott, and, well, a lot of people out there just weren't asking for a Han Solo movie to begin with from the start. Was it a good movie? Absolutely. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I wouldn't say, that it's the best Star Wars film ever, but I thought it was a great and solid movie. But if you look at, the facts here, how many people were really asking for a Han Solo movie over, let's say, for an example here, an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, or another type of Star Wars movie that would be centered on Jedi lore, or Sith-related stuff, or the Force, something around those lines, right? I feel like that not a majority of the Star Wars fans around the world were asking for a Han Solo movie, and a lot of people also were very critical about, you know, Han returning, not in the form of Harrison Ford, portraying the character. So this whole entire Disney, you know, Star Wars slowdown, you know, it's a very confusing piece right now. A lot of people are talking about it, and I really don't think that they're going to do away with a Star Wars movie every single year, because if you look at Marvel, they're doing just fine, right? They're doing just fine. Now, one would say that yes, Star Wars is not Marvel, and that is true. Star Wars isn't Marvel, and I do agree with some of you guys out there that do, you know, say that, well, Star Wars should be a mega event, and in order to make it a mega event, there should be a couple of years of no Star Wars films in order to really get the fans pumped and hyped for the next one. Now, while that may be true in some cases out there, I think that as long as the movie is well made and of quality, and they market it right, you can always have a Star Wars movie every single year. Like I say, it may not be, you know, Marvel, but Marvel is doing a great job at releasing multiple superhero films a year. Surely Star Wars can do one a year, you know, from this point of time until whenever Star Wars ends. As long as they have fresh ideas, they make sense, they don't really necessarily fail, and they reach the audience, I think it'll be all a-okay. But looking at Bob Iger's statement, guys, he did actually go over the Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. We do know that they're going to begin writing their scripts, apparently, in 2019, once Game of Thrones Season 8 is pretty much, you know, wrapped completely. But drop a comment below, guys, and let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.